Hello, everybody, and today we have a great guest, Michael, and from Serviceplan, Global Head of Art, Michael Wilk. And hello, Michael.
Hey guys, nice to meet you. Hi, Alex.
So nice to have you. And we have this great chance to interrogate you about this amazing campaign and PR stunt called Lifeboat, the experiment,
yes,
which addresses the refugee crisis, and was done under your creative lead.
Yeah.
And I must say, as I'm was in jury and in brand experience, we were all very thrilled about this project. And also worth mentioning that in ADCE awards, you got with this project several awards, like 2 silvers in integrated in innovation for branded content and also social, and gold in brand experience, and this very special, unique prize for our ADCE Europe festival called European Star.
Yes.
Which is, I think, so important thing to underline and emphasize that our works and campaigns can also address more wider social issues in general. And when we were judging and looking on your work, we were so touched with this and in so layered and different ways. First of all, of so powerful idea and excellent and stunning execution, which led to this breathtaking brand experience, right? So, and it was really so strong that it was hard to keep emotions and I think it's so important and so also complicated issue, the refugees crisis, and as for people in daily life, they are though detached, so far away from this, right? And mostly probably influenced with the opinions from the media and loudest populists, right? And it's and you somehow manage to get through this all noise and actually manage to raise the empathy for people to refugees, which is so critical, important in especially in Europe at the moment. And it was so inspiring to see this. And that's why we wanted to find out more, about this project and the backstory. And as our creative community is fulfilled with a lot of young creatives, and it's for them it's so interesting, the backstage and how you approach this project. So if to start. Can you start with this, telling what is a brief, right? So, or how you approach this, and is there usual some kind of way how you approach it, or?
Yeah. So thank you very much for the flowers. First of all, thank you very much for giving the case the platform. This is not about myself. I think it's about giving Sea-Watch and their cause the platform. So Lifeboat is still important nowadays. Even we shot it almost 2 years ago now. And the project itself started very different, so to say. We got the briefing in a very unusual way. We have a colleague, and in her private time, she's kind of ambassador for Sea-Watch. So she's very active and knows the topics, knows the people. She kind of introduced a new ship back in the days for the Sea-Watch fleet and everything. And on one day, she came up to our office and said, "Hey, you creatives, you always come up with weird ideas and funny here, strange that." And she just came up with a pile of paper. It was like really, let's say 2 centimeters of paper. And it was in a very, very small font written thousands of names of people that are drowned in the Mediterranean. And she just put this pile of paper on the desk and said, "Do something," and left the room. And none of us could touch this pile of paper with all the names for, let's say, a week or something, because we knew this is not made up. This is facts. This is reality every day, week, month, year. This is not a problem from 2019. This was a problem in 2014. This is a problem in 2021. It will be in 2022. So this is like, it was very up to date, and we thought about what can we do, because it was not so noisy. You said it was so noisy, and you reached out for people in a very noisy time. To be honest, this was the biggest issue when we talked with the client first time, that it was not noisy at all, that it was super silent. The topic was huge. If you remember the picture with the dead kid on the beach, this was back in 2013, 14, and was big in every newspaper, cover stories and everything. But actually the PR value really kind of went down. So nobody was like, yeah, refugees, there might be something in the Mediterranean. So we could not capture people's attention any longer. And to be honest, the core idea of bringing Europeans into more or less, we don't want to compete with a real refugee trip over the Mediterranean, but bringing real normal people into such a situation came up out of a private situation. I was with my kids in a public pool, and they have like a artificial wave pool, and I thought like it struck me like in a second. I was like, oh, what if we put a boat in here, set real people in there with no time barriers, and then let them more or less experience how it is to not have to not say we do this for 2 hours, or to not have food, to not go on a toilet. I was very emotionally attached to this wave thing, and then we found a perfect location in the north of Germany, and they could really steer up the waves like on a very, very high level. So people got sick, people felt very uncomfortable. It was very narrow and tiny and squeezed at the beginning. So we ended up in kind of recreating, after a lot of interviews with real refugees, we ended up in creating more or less the circumstances. Again, we don't want to compete with such a real life situation, but we try to repaint all this in our setup, to be honest. Yeah.
Yes, and I think it was so smart to involve right people in experiment, right? So that they are the storytellers,
yes,
with the audience, and that they should, experience on their skin this, and nobody better can and more professionally, emotionally, and talentedly share this story further.
That's why we had actually choose this amount of people and kind of this diversity of people. We had old, young, professional, retired, poor, rich, student, worker, female, male. So we had all these aspects. We want to capture a whole demography of society. It was not about let's have 40 20 somethings, let's have generation Y in the boat and let's see what's happening. No, you could relate. How is an older person reacting to the circumstances, feeling very, very uncomfortable, almost health-wise in danger at some points. We had some ambulance right next to the pool all the time because we actually did not know what will happen.
And they were all like from media and influencers, right? With this, and how did you sign up them for this? Did they knew what will happen? Was there a role of the you know, the Sky Visual as a director, and or
no? To be honest, we kept it very, very open. This was part of the surprise, so to say. We only said it's about water. You need to have a whole day of time and bring some clothes to change. This was the only, they knew nothing. And we had the location, which was kind of very remote, but this is actually, again, something about the real life situation. You don't know when you're going to leave the country. You don't know when you're going to leave Syria. It's now. We're going to go to the beach now. And then it will happen. So we kind of gathered all the people together in another house, and then we kind of blindfolded them, brought them to the beach, to the pool. This is something happening in real life situations as well, that the people don't know where they're about to board the boat. And then we gave them some rough instructions, pulled them in the middle of this pool, and then they kind of reacted to the situation, and then we let go. Yeah, we were very happy to kind of. I don't know whether you've seen. We got like, this was probably the biggest lucky circumstance ever to get like Sky Fitzgerald for the project.
Yes.
This was like out of nowhere. I mean, he shot the documentation of Lifeboat exactly 2019 as well, and was campaigning for an Oscar in 2019. And then due to a production company out of nowhere, they had like a contact, and we kind of Skyped with him like today with you. And he was in a second, let's do it. He was not, how shall we do it? And what about Europe? I don't know. Shall I come over? He was like, we do it. And he was so into this. And he's kind of a professional. If it's, he's not just an documentary director. His education happened in stage play. So he know how to set this all up. So we had like an orchestra of effects. Like the wave was just one thing. We had like light, dust, wind, rain. We had all of this, and since his experience with the original documentation and shooting down in Syria and in the Mediterranean, he knew all these aspects. So when we said, let's give them 20 bars of 20 power bars to eat something in the middle, he said, let's give them one and see how they fight for this one chocolate bar. Whenever we said, give them some water, he give them half of the amount of water you've planned. He kind of knew that all the refugee boats initially had a very dirty smell. So we kind of put something very disgusting smelling onto the boat already when they entered it. It was very much trying to put it down to the very detail by trying to recreate something emotionally touching. This was actually we had this our briefing for executing this was, we need to trigger real emotions. This has to be authentic, and otherwise it would have been a fail. And
And is this you could say that this was the most difficult part of the project, and all the execution thing, or was there something else?
I mean, let's say the entire project, to just prepare it from first idea to finding the right partners and everything, it took something like half a year, 7-8 months. Plus then afterwards, like running through the shooted material, editing everything. So a bit of post-production afterwards. But you said it was really about talking to the right people. So where to get the boat from, where to get the location from. We needed divers in the pool. We ended up in filming with 8 different cameras. You need to have 8 DOPs. We had GoPros. We need to have tone. It was sound. It was just a lot, I'm used to try to find a solution myself, generate more or less everything out of myself, and an idea, and then the execution. You might have a photographer on set. Okay, cool, inspiring guy. But I quickly realized I mean, we ended up in probably having 80 up to 100 people from time to time on this entire project. This was really about outsourcing, making it better, prep guys who prepped the pool the right way, black tarp on the ground. It was usually a blue pool. And then all this knowledge from DOP to it was just so important. But it was every puzzle part at the end really came together. And it was very interesting to see how everybody from different departments reacted to the core idea and what kind of this core idea made happen with the people. So we had like guys saying, no, you could have the boat for free then. You have to rent this location, but we're going to make it half the price because of this purpose. Sky ended up in doing this for free. It was just the entire trip and everything, I mean, it was a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of pre-production going into this project. But we all had this feeling, if we do this right, it could set up so much more in society. It could really give a momentum back to a topic which was almost forgotten.
And even having so big team involved and all kind of united under this one mission, it's already, I think, reaching the audience and having the effect, right? And is there kind of feedback from people who have experienced what it actually mean, even from the director? Have you can compare? Is it? I know it's not about competing, but if you have pushed it further and further.
So again, as you said, and I just want to mention it one more time, we don't want to compete. Yeah. But what we can say is that a lot of people, so we interviewed all the participants after the experiment, and this feeling of, everybody said it must be even harder in the Mediterranean, but everybody reached their limits of what they were capable on this very day, what they were capable in this situation with total strangers. So this honesty, and then knowing that it's an extra push if you not do this for 6 or 7 hours, if you do this for days, and not knowing, but I could just jump over to this ladder and I'm done. We opened up to this extra level of vague plus. So we knew that we can't recreate this feeling of pure, that we could not shoot this in the Mediterranean. It was way too dangerous, and it's not going to set the sign we want to achieve. But we reached the heart of people, and this was probably the most honest thing we could go for, and this was this honesty and this authenticity, to be honest.
Sounds amazing, and as a process and the result, and as a mission, I think that's very, very, very inspiring. And if we talk about about brand experience, right? And it's what do you see it as a role in the communication? And one thing is in a social more projects, which is maybe not so typical, right? And this, what do you see? How you approach this brand experience, which is kind of uprising and more important thing?
It's actually, to be very honest, it's sad to call it brand experience. It's sad that we need brands like Sea-Watch in 2021 to fight for the most normal thing, to fight for the life of other people. So brand experience, you know what I mean, is a little...
Of course, they're all
categorized. ADCE Europe is asking, is it social? Is it brand experience? We think it's just very important, to bring it to the table. It's a weird world, to categorize them. For us, it was simply about the content of Sea-Watch. They are hunting for donations. They're hunting to get their topics loud, and they do it with campaigns and with posters. And we tried this in 1 year and we tried this the other year. For them, it was just a new approach of bringing a known topic again to the table, and this was very interesting, whether it's social or experimental or, it was very honest. This is again the category thinking of award shows probably, but initially we just went for definitely a social project, and we went for hitting the biggest PR possible, but it was not our initial trigger to think about experiential or social or behavior or.
Yeah, I absolutely understand it. Any marketing terminology in a context of real,
it feels wrong.
Absolutely, it's even I feel uncomfortable to put in this context. But I think it's also just besides this particular social project, as such, to kind of go to the next step of communication and involving people, which kind of brings you more empathy and relationship and experience in something what we call brand experience, right? I think this is just kind of craft and the thing which is upcoming and will play more and more role, and especially we see not only social projects but and for the other commercial brands, where they more and more understand that they can communicate not only their message and reach their finance or whatever goals, they also can tackle and approach the social issues, and it shouldn't contradict each other, that they can find common ground, right? Yeah. And
there's a big truth in going experiential nowadays, and we have those briefings, to be honest, very often on our table, from electric driving, make it experiential, from banking, make it experiential. It's a common ground, and what's in the heart of every brief is a customer to reach out for, and you not go with a message and targeting the head probably or the brain. Yes. You a lot of briefings want to target the heart. So this is a tough thing. This is a very private place. How to reach your opposite's heart, by experiencing something. It's quickly said, it's quickly explained, but it's so hard to build, since I'm ignoring every billboard. You're switching TV further if an ad block comes in. Now a brand says, hey, sit here to experience something special, or drive this to experience something special. There is again this kind of tricky part to overcome. But once you got those people in, there's a huge chance to really open up for a long-lasting brand connection. We kind of found an TV article last week, and they kind of revisited people who participated back in the days in this experiment, and they got them in front of the camera, and they were still touched. It's 2 years ago, and they were sitting there kind of denying their tears, and it was like, I remember this day. It was a Wednesday back in, this was all very present, and it was interesting for us to see, or very emotional for us to see as well, that it was not just a quick stunt, but it really triggered feelings and this connection to the topic, and to see what's done. Yeah.
So, as a last question, I would like to ask you, do you have any tips for the young creatives starting their career?
A super tip. Stick to your guns. Don't bend over. Stick to your superpower. If you're a great illustrator, don't try to become a photographer. If you're a good story writer, don't try to put everything into a hashtag. Play your best strengths even stronger, and then bring it out, and then make it visible. I think visibility is a huge point. Not keep your ideas yourself. As mentioned earlier with Lifeboat. I knew I had something, but I would have never executed the entire idea without any further help. And I think a lot of people made this idea better. It was very simple at the beginning, and then it's get better and complex and better and better. So be inspired, have your ideas, don't be shy to share them. Remembering me back in the days as a young creative, I was very shy, very introverted to kind of, is it a good one? Is it a bad one? You know, I think a good creative can turn ideas into something greater, bigger, better. And this supersizing of an idea just needs a little bit of experience. The initial spark could come from every junior or beginner or intern or whatever. And I think this is important to know that, trust your guts. Every creative is powerful. You could do so much. And this is, and have fun, to be honest, to be very, very honest. It's a great time. We have all the techniques. Try to have fun with the briefing, try to have fun with your client. We're not doctors, you know, it's not an operation on an open heart. Twinkle in the eye, let's do it and have some fun on the way. Even with sad topics, you know. I would lie if I said that the execution of Lifeboat was not fun from time to time, even for a set topic. And our learning curve was so steep, you know. Get yourself literally in new waters. And if you've never done a brand experience before, try to have something like this. If you've never done a product, try to do it this way. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid. This is go with your guts. You can all do this.
Great advice. Michael, thank you very much for your time and inspiring story. And we will definitely follow your work, and we are eager to see your new project. And yes, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, ADCE Europe. Pleasure meeting all of you. And pleasure meeting the organization.
Great.
Cool. Thank you. Bye.